So in this video, we're going to be working with space and perspective. When I say perspective, I mean we can look out into the distance and realize that there is space to move around, and things that are further away from us are smaller, things that are closer to us are larger. And it also has to do with how the edges of a room can be laid out. So for this project, you need a ruler, a pencil with a good eraser, coloring supplies, scissors, and an old magazine. Please make sure that your magazine's something nice. Alright, let me get myself a pair of scissors. Boop. There we go. So I'm going to put the scissors to the side because that's actually one of the last things I need. The first thing I need to do for a Alice in Wonderland room, because first we need to draw our rooms, is to make with a ruler a rectangle. I'm lining it up with the sides. And I may have to erase a corner of it, and that's okay, because that's why we have a pencil with an eraser. Do not have a death grip on your pencil so that you leave really dark lines that you can't erase. That is bad for this project. Alright, we need a vanishing point. Okay, it's where all our lines that we're going to draw, except for this back end of the room, are going to disappear to. That's what's called a vanishing point. It's a point that's usually on the horizon, okay, where the land meets the sky. Right in the middle of our rectangle, you can just kind of eyeball it, put a very light dot, one that you can erase later. We're going to use this dot as our vanishing point. So I'm going to line up my ruler with that dot in the end of my room, the corner of my room, the corner of this rectangle. I'm not going to draw from the dot, but I am going to draw from the corner off the paper. That's one corner. I'm going to repeat with all the corners. Line up dot with the corner, draw a line from the corner off the paper. Line up the dot with the corner, line up the dot with the corner. There we go. So now I'm starting to have a 3D looking room in here. And you're probably thinking, I don't see the room yet. Back wall, ceiling, floor, side wall, side wall. Let's make this a little more obvious that this part is the floor. I want you to take your ruler, line up with your dot, and have it coming straight up and down in the middle. We're going to make a series of lines that are going to come out. Okay, so maybe one right in between where this corner and the beginning of this line is. And same on this side, so in between this line and this corner, I'm going to line up my ruler somewhere along this line, line up with my dot. So now it should start looking like planks of wood, giant planks of wood. I don't want giant planks of wood, so I'm going to go in between this and this, so about right there. And start. And you can mark those off so you have something to aim for. So just in between, in between, in between. Same thing. Line it up with your vanishing point, line it up with that mark you made, and make another line. Line it up with the vanishing point, line it up with the mark you made. Line it up with your vanishing point, line it up with the mark you made. Now we're starting to get somewhere. All right, So if this is going to be tiled floors, the next set of lines we need are going to be horizontal lines, lines that go back and forth. But the further away the tiles are, the smaller they are. So I want them to be relatively small and narrow. So I'm actually going to come pretty close to my initial line of the rectangle, make them quite small. When you come out, make them a little bit bigger. Not too much bigger, just a little bit. Do another line that's parallel to the first one you made. Parallel means that they run along evenly and they will never cross. Make your next one a little bit bigger. Now you can see that the tiles that are closer to us are getting bigger. Next one should be even bigger. The last set of tiles should be biggest. Now we're cooking with fire when it comes to making our rooms. Alright, remember, if you ever mess up, you can always start again, try again, restart me. You do not have the luxury of being in the classroom with me if you're quarantined. I'm sorry. Alright, somewhere on here, I want to make a door. So choose this wall or this wall. Going to line up your ruler with your vanishing point, how tall you want your door to be. So maybe you want it to be this tall. Maybe you want it to be this tall. Maybe you want it to be almost all the way up to the ceiling. But wherever your ruler swivels, it's always going to match up to my vanishing point. So I want my door to be kind of average tall. I'm just going to make a line like that. And then I am going to make a parallel line to the side of my room. And then another parallel line for the other edge of the door. Aha! I have a doorway now. Aha! And notice that all these lines are still following the vanishing point, except for the lines that run up and down. Give your door a fancy doorknob if you wish. Alright, now I have my Alice in Wonderland rooms. And I am going to think about color. What kind of color do you want your room? You can also, at this point, you don't need your vanishing point anymore, because now you have everything you need to make your Alice in Wonderland room. You could do weird things like put polka dots on the ceiling. I'm just going to do this kind of fast and messy. Not a Goofus job, okay, because I'm not Goofus. I am going to think about how dots smaller are away from me and dots that are very large in my face close to me. Alright, so maybe a polka dot ceiling. Make your tiles every other checkerboard. So choose, you can see I'm biased. I'm going to do orange and purple. If I remember going too fast for you, you know you can always pause me. If you don't have a magazine, you can get a tabloid or newspaper. They have pictures in them too, so you can use those. Those are fair game. Just as long as nothing too weird. Alright, so come in, and I want to color this. And the reason I'm saying Alice in Wonderland is you saw in the video, she floated down, she passed a bunch of stuff. And that stuff can be on the floor, it can be floating, it can be weird. It doesn't need to make sense, because it is Wonderland that we are aiming for with our stuff. So if it's cooking magazine, maybe your room has a bunch of floating food in it. Maybe your room has a cat that is floating across. Maybe it has even a picture of you in your Alice in Wonderland rooms. Alright, so I've colored my stuff. I'll choose like a color, maybe like green for my walls. And when you do walls, I'm going to give you a little hint. And this is just how lighting is in rooms. You can actually look at your room and go, what? She's right. So I'm going to quickly do this. Rooms get darker, slightly darker, the closer to an edge they are. The walls do. So wherever this corner is, I'm actually going to put kind of a shadow where it is. Yeah, did a little goofus there. Darn. And put my shadow corner and at the ceiling. And yeah, so I'm sure you don't want to sit here and watch me color. Maybe you're coloring at the same time too. Alright, so there I go with my room. I'll color my door, like, I guess later. Alright, so now for the magazine part. Pair of scissors. Something that your parents or the adult in your life is fine with you cutting up. But I wish I could use those chickens. I love the chickens. Chickens, you know I love chickens. Got my babies at home. Alright, so maybe Mr. Clean, or a plate of food, or this weird thing hanging up, so like pieces of furniture that you really like, this vase, the orchid, that thing, maybe this tree. Things that you can cut out of here that you can use. Maybe a person. Maybe I could use her. Her whole body's here. So I actually have a finished example, and you may have seen this out in the hallway. But this is my Alice in Wonderland room that I used out of a Better Homes and Gardens magazine. And it's random stuff. I got a donkey's head. I got a tiny cat. Okay, that's separate than the suitcase that the donkey is on top of. I got my turtle, I got my fish, I got my woman. Alright, but notice that I actually did take my time with my scissors and gently go around them. I have seen people do this project and put a hack job of cutting, and then they weren't happy with their Alice in Wonderland rooms. Well, duh, you didn't take your time gently cutting out your pieces. Take your time. After you cut them out, place them in your room and glue them down. And I can't wait to see what you do with your finished Alice in Wonderland rooms with perspective and showing space. All right, bye-bye.